All right, so
Look.
this is going to start with the equations that we've been solving, systems of equations we've been solving for a while, but we're going to use our matrix information and our calculators to solve them faster. So first we have to read it. Bill and Deshawn are selling wrapping paper for a school fundraiser. Customers can buy rolls of plain wrapping paper and rolls of holiday wrapping paper. Bill sold 7 rolls of plain wrapping paper and 10 rolls of holiday wrapping paper for a total of $250. So this is the line where we're going to get a lot of information. And then Deshawn sold 14 rolls of plain wrapping paper, 3 rolls of holiday wrapping paper for a total of $194. Find the cost each of 1 roll of plain wrapping paper and 1 roll of holiday wrapping paper.
Oh.
So, let's use P for the cost of plain paper and H for the cost of holiday paper. You could be boring and use X and Y. So we've set these equations up before. This should be pretty easy. Bill sold 7 rolls of plain wrapping paper. That would just be 7P. And 10 rolls of holiday wrapping paper is 10H for a total of $250. So there's an equation.
This is just algebra.
Yep, Deshawn sold 14 rolls of plain wrapping paper and 3 rolls of holiday paper for a total of $194. So yes, you could use elimination. You could solve this pretty quickly, but matrices, once you know how to use them, can be pretty even faster. So we learned how to set up matrix equations, and then we proved that we could do a shortcut. So do matrix A, which is a square matrix from the coefficients here, so 7, 10, 14, and 3. And we'll make a matrix B for the totals on this side, 250 and 194. If we put these into the calculator and take A inverse times B, that's going to give us the answers very quickly. So let's review how we put these in the calculator. So first, you want to go in where it says matrix, which is right down here above the X to the -1 key. So you do second, hit that key, and you're in the matrix menu. To make a new matrix, you arrow to the right where it says edit. And I'm just going to use A and B, so I'm going to edit matrix A. It's already 2 by 2. I just need to go down here and put in 7, 10, 14, 3. So 7, enter, 10, enter, 14, enter, 3, enter. So take a second. So matrix menu, you get into the matrix menu, you right over to edit, select A, and put these in. And so this is going to save as matrix A. All right? So then to do matrix B, we go in and you're going to go second, matrix again to go back to that menu. I wish there was a back button, but there just isn't. And then there is, but then you still have to go into the other. So go into matrix and over to edit again. And I'm going to use matrix B because that's the name that we used when we were doing these. And so matrix B, we actually have a 2 by 1, so you can tell it to make this a 2 by 1 matrix. And then put in the 250 and the 194. And that'll save as matrix B.
I really don't like the down the vertical. I don't know. I don't like the 2 goes first and then the 1.
It's because it's 2 rows and 1 column. You'll know really quickly if you put it in backwards though, because it'll go the wrong way. You can't multiply them if it goes the other way, so that's why they do that. Okay, so to actually do the calculations we need to do, we're going to quit. We're going to go back to the main screen. So you do second, and the mode key says quit above it. And so this is where we're going to tell it to put everything. So once you get to here, we're going to grab the names of these matrices from the matrix menu. So second matrix, and just hit enter on number 1, it'll copy A. And then we want to do the inverse. So the inverse, you come down and do the X to the -1 key. It'll put a little -1, so it's down here, that one right there. And that'll put a negative. You could probably do a -1 power, but I'm not sure if that'll. And then you're going to push times. And I think Riley figured out yesterday you don't even have to do times, but I always do because the old calculators you had to. And then go second, matrix, go down and select B. And so it's doing A inverse times B, which we proved will solve this system of equations. And it gives us 10 and 18. Now we have to answer the question. It says find the cost each of one roll of plain wrapping paper, one roll of holiday wrapping paper. So the order that these were in, it was plain and then holiday. So that means it's $10 per roll of plain and $18 per roll of holiday. I should write the word paper, but we're specifying which is which. Are we going to have to do all 4 problems?
Why did I get looked at?
I don't know who's doing what. I'm just looking. All right. So let's go down and look at number 2. Joe and Gabriella each improved their yards by planting rose bushes and shrubs.
Yeah.
They bought their supplies from the same store. Joe spent, I think they tell us that to know that the prices would be the same. Joe spent $54 on 2 rose bushes and 10 shrubs. Gabriella spent $94 on 12 rose bushes and 14 shrubs. So that's where all of our information is, right there. And here's the question. Find the cost of 1 rose bush and the cost of 1 shrub. So we will also get dollars in our answer on this one.
So you don't.
So we're going to set up the equations.
The only reason you need P and H are to set up your equation, right?
Basically, set up the equation, and you can use X and Y. Let's do that on this one. So let's just say that X is the, I guess they're saying cost instead of price. I'll do that. The cost
Let's do X as the roses.
of a rose bush. And I'm putting in the word cost because sometimes you get done and you're like, oh, it's 8 rose bushes, but it was dollars per rose bush. So it's good to have that. So the cost of a shrub.
Who buys
So
a
fun.
shrub?
I don't know who buys a shrub. And then we'll set up our equations.
Who buys
So set up Joe's equation for me if I'm using X and Y.
2x plus 10y equals 54.
Good job. And then the second one for Gabriella.
12x plus 14y equals 94.
94. So there's our equations.
2 5.
So we don't have to go through the whole process of setting up the matrix equation because we proved how we can rearrange those. So we're just going to take these coefficients and make matrix A. We'll make matrix B from 54 and 94. And then to get the answers, we need to do A inverse times B. Be careful and don't do B times A inverse because it won't work. All right, so let's put these into the calculator. So we go second, and then you want that matrix menu, which is down here. And you have to go over to edit, and I forget that all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and use A because it's already set up as a 2 by 2. So 2, 10, 12, and 14. So there's matrix A. Make sure you're putting them in just like they are in the equation. And then I can go second, go down here to matrix, go over and edit matrix B, and we'll put in 50. Oh, no, that's not where I meant to do that. 2. I want a 2 by 1. Put in 54 and 94. So now all we have to do is tell it to do A inverse times B, and the equations will be solved. Okay? So basically we're kind of programming some information in. All right, so if you do second quit, you'll go back to the main screen. You have to do that first. And second matrix, we're going to select A, and then don't forget to do inverse. So just do the little -1 key times matrix, go down to B. Can't see my screen. So we want A inverse times B. It's going to give us the answers 2 and 5, and all we have to do is interpret them. So since we had rose bushes first all the way through and the other second, we just have to write that it is $2 per rose bush and $5 per shrub. Are we
Why
done?
don't we just skip the whole algebra thing and you know?
So in theory, if you can keep track of it all, you can. Sometimes there will be too much information to keep track of. But this is showing you how it ties into what we're doing with matrices. So if you want to skip to just
No.
this part,
I mean, like back 4 years ago when you taught us how to do this without matrices.
but you hadn't done matrices yet.
I know,
Matrices
why
are
didn't
not
we
a...
skip that.
Yeah, why didn't we
Instead of
just go
learning
straight
that,
to
we learned
matrices and never do
matrices.
algebra?
Because when you take the SAT, they will put these on the no calculator portion because they know the calculator solves them. So you have to still know how to do it.
So it's just like a system of making us
Did you
do
like
stuff the
that?
hard way?
So basically, I'm teaching you this because it might help you in college. But as far as most of your
Number
college
3 should be the
testing, they're
practice
still going to make you do it the long way.
problem. Number 3 should be the practice problem.
I've got something
I agree.
separate.
Aww.
What the heck, man?
Parker did it for no reason.
No, I didn't.
No, we did it.
I suppose I should stop recording.